This is still snowy and good vibes in here. We're still gonna work on this cute teeny tiny cardinal. So this is how it looks like after it's completely dried. I think it looks good. And I like all these crazy fun textures I see here. So let's continue the adventure. Sorry. So we're going to do some detail work on this cardinal here. And if my son comes inside and interrupts, I apologize in advance, but that's part of life, as they say. And I may not be able to see what you see as I paint, so I apologize if I lose some of my insight to what you all see. So I'm going to start mixing my paints for the cardinal. For the cardinal, I'm going to use different kinds of red. One red that we definitely can use is Pyrrole Scarlet by Daniel Smith. I like it to be more on the bright orange side, so you can also use some of the oranges, or even in the medium palette. I think I'm going to also use some of these colors in my palette, which is a fabulous one. I'm going to use, I'm bringing my color catalog out, and I think it's the persimmon red is really nice for this one. And I want some fun oranges, like some fun funky oranges, and you don't have to do this. You can go with any muted or earthy tones that you like. So I think the crimson is nice, black tea is nice, vermilion is nice. All of these are really good choices. But I think the red orange or the really neon one is a cool one. I think it's called the flower orange, which is the neon one right here next to this cool yellow. And this fun red, which is called persimmon red, as I mentioned. So it's going to be a lot of these two. And then in the back, for a little bit of a darkness, I'm going to come to this side of the palette, and I'm going to use this lovely color, which I think it's called garnet red, and also a little bit of the rust red I'm going to use in this corner. All right, so let's do it. I start by spraying my paint. With water. So I spray the palette with some water and kind of wake it up or activate it. And at this point I want to use any smaller brushes, like brush number 7 or brush number 5 of the same collection would be good. Or actually I really want to use my Aqua Elite. I have an Aqua Elite number 2 by Princeton. It's a Princeton brand. Aqua Elite is the line under Princeton that I'm using, and also Princeton Aqua Elite number 8. But you can use your brush number 2 Princeton Heritage and brush number 6 Princeton Heritage as well for this painting, or these ones. Any of these would work. So I will start by working a little bit on the trunk, on the tree trunk first. And for that, I'm also going to use some browns and kind of like burnt umbers and stuff. And I'm going to use brush number 1. I will start with my burnt umber. And I kind of try to put a little bit of a darkness in some areas on this tree bark. Not where you have your snow. And then I activate it with some wet pigment, with wet clean water. Kind of try to pull it out, spreading my brush just a little bit. And with butter consistency, I'm leaving some textures on the trunk a little bit. And then I want to make sure I do a little bit of a negative painting for where I have the snow. And I wiggle my brush and smudge the paint out. And I go a little bit into my yellow ochre as well, and drop a little bit yellow ochre because it's just a fun color in this palette that I like. And kind of a variegated wash like kind of thing. And as you see, I'm just trying to do some random strokes to create some snow texture. As you see, in some areas it even feels like a little of a dry brushing. A little bit of dark ochre or raw umber could also be nice. I just love the wateriness or the watery feeling of textures when they happen. So fun. While this is still damp, I want to go and do some more of the fun stuff. Till I go here, it feels like it's like a little bit more of a snow on this side, and adding more dark. I drop a little bit more dark with like almost a dry brush while I'm leaving some marks. Textures. You can even come with a little bit of a black, but mostly, again, your cream to butter consistency here in the bottom I'm leaving some more of lines and textures, just because or even a little bit right under the snow, just a touch of darkness in some areas to accentuate the snow. And for the tree, it's just more texture, makes it more believable. Darkness. Feels like I leave some white on the trunk as well, because it feels like it's like snow on the tree too. Now I'm going to work on those reds for the cardinal that I mentioned. And I clean my brush and I go to those fun reds, starting with my funky orange that I want to put like here on the belly. And that will be my first layer kind of, and it is like an underwash for everything that I'm gonna do, but then I'm spreading it with more of a water. And as I move, I drop a little bit of the darker red, so it would be more of a variegated washy feeling, and more dark on the back. Just washing the pigment with my clean brush that was wet, and I use clean water. And I personally am using vermilion here for the rest of it, but feel free to use any other type of red that you like. And I want this bird to be a lot watercolory, so I'm also using a little scarlet, by the way, as I'm this is a little extra. I wanna come out this much, so I'm just lifting the paint. Okay, that's better. Adding a little bit more scarlet, and the reason I work it in sections and I like the cauliflowers and patches is because it's a bird, and the feather texture is really like something that you can achieve by those patches. I just like doing more feathery movements. I go to my orange again. And with a little bit more of a wet paint brush, I'm dropping more of a paint because I want to accentuate all the even like for the legs, I'm coming out just a little bit. And I'm using the dark umber. Very dry brush type. And then I'm adding a little bit more of the red to my brown. Using my brush number 2 still. And there's a little bit of a create a little bit of a reflection of the bleeding, let's say, on the snow, so it's just artistic, nothing, just a little bit of those pinks and for the darker black parts, I will wait. So now I'm going to use my either glacier green or your blue appetite genuine that we use. I want to kind of go and do a little bit of a negative painting here. And you're just like cleaning behind the snow area where it's like the bird is sitting. Like a little bit around your birdie. I know it feels like it's gonna bleed, but at this point it should be good. Right here. Now I just want to wash it off just a little bit and softening it with my brush being totally flat on the paper, and you can use a flat brush if you want it, but I'm just blending it with the background a little bit. And if you need to do more in some areas, you can come back and add more while still wet. You could also wet it first and then do it, but either way is fine. See, I'm just trying to make it a little bit more I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom. My preference was to use the blue apatite genuine, but you can use the glacier green if you wanted a lesser of a darkness. I'm going to black and I'm going to start working on the face. And yeah, I'm just like completing the whole face area, mostly like doing a negative painting here around the beak and with a little bit of a darker red. I come to this side. You can even add a little bit of a neon orange because we're gonna add that to the all right. So at this point I want to blow dry this and then I can do the rest of the detail work. Or I can just work a little bit on the top headpiece, let's say, if I say so. I call it a headpiece. And as you see, I'm just like polishing things up. For the beak also, I want to go with a very light orange first. Even a little bit of a yellow. And for the yellow, any Indian yellow, lemon yellow, it doesn't matter, warm or cold, really. Just teeny tiny yellow.